I gotta say, I'm totally not interested in a relationship with anyone at all. I'm happy alone. I love myself alone. I love myself. I don't need to be loved by somebody else to know that I'm a good person. I have about 25 years of being single. And what you find with people like me, you really, you really got to be special, and you really got to go out of your way to convince me to ruin that winning streak. I see 25 years as a winning streak, you know. Some men are weak, you know, they can't function without a woman. They need a woman to tell them what to do. They need a woman to do their laundry. They need a woman to cook for them. I could use a woman to do my laundry. I'm very bad with laundry. But I'm not going to date a woman just to get laundry done, you know. And 90% of the women I would date wouldn't do my laundry. So, yeah. I'm not looking for a slave or a sex slave, or I'm looking for an equal, and there just aren't any available. There's no equals among us, for me. Not for me. You know, I operate at a much higher level, and I can't come down to your level. And if I did it, it wouldn't be good for you, and it wouldn't be good for me. So, being single, I thought for a while that being single was a curse or a bad thing, but now I see it as a good thing. And the opposite of a curse. The curse is to be in a relationship. I just, I thought I found my queen. She rejected me. And most women through the history of my life have treated me like garbage, like my mother. And, I didn't put you in heaven. I didn't give women heaven because I love you. I gave women heaven because it fucked the devil. That's the only reason, And I don't love men anymore in any special way at all either. Men are scum of the earth and monkeys. And there'll always be a monkey compared to me. So I walk this earth alone, And it's not like I'm gonna have sex with a lot of women or anything. I'm not. I don't care to. Most of you aren't that good in bed anyway that it's worthwhile. So, it's the curse of my life, to live it alone. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's really not a curse. You see it as a curse. I don't see it as a curse. I see it as a good thing. Most of the times when I get with people, the first thing I do is look at my watch and say, how long is this going to last? So that's why I talk to a lot of deli people and the pizza place people and the people that work behind the counters and stuff, seek confirmation. Because I know it's not a long-term conversation, It's a matter of getting my food and going, and that's fine with me. But once I leave, I don't need a conversation. I don't need to know your life. I don't give a shit about your life. And I don't want to know. But I do want to teach you. I want to teach you to have a good life. I want to screw the devil, because the devil loses when you have a good life, when you're educated and you don't do and fall into his traps, like the Bitcoin trap that he set up for all of you. And that's going to close very soon, and you're all going to get caught losing your life savings. And you're going to blame the government, and it's not the government's fault. And the government's going to lose too, because they're highly invested in it as well. So they're going to lose. And if it doesn't crash right away, that's why it won't crash, because the government's gonna artificially keep it up so they don't lose. That's what the government does with a stock that's very high up there. That's why Enron took so long to collapse, because they artificially propped it up so they could get all their money out, and then they let it fall. And, and Lehman Brothers, they were allowed to fail, and it was like, out of all those banks, somebody had to lose, because if nobody lost, then the jig was up and the illusion was up that it was all artificial. And by letting Lehman Brothers fall, it was a way of saying it's not artificial. Because look, we let them fall. If it was artificial, we wouldn't. Don't worry, the big boys didn't lose any money. I can assure you. Everybody else was left holding the bag. And they didn't let AIG go, did they? No, they were holding the bag for all the insurance policies, and AIG still exists. So you tell me it's not artificial. You're right. It's the fakest friggin' country in the fakest friggin' world. This world is so fake, it's unreal how fake it is. Talk about plastic society. Even our water is in plastic. You can't use the sink anymore. So, and what do you get when you drink out of plastic? Nanoplastic in your body. So, it's all the devil. It's all the devil. But the devil has help, and all these scumbags are more than willing to help the devil. The cops, the government, the DAs, the judges, the lawyers. The lawyers are the biggest scum of the earth. And defense or prosecution, doesn't matter either way, the scum of the earth, It's alright. They'll get theirs. As you can tell, I'm the equalizer, and I'm going to equalize it all. The country and the world is falling, and will cease to exist the way it does exist, and then it'll be my world, and it'll exist the way I want it to. And the ones that were the scum of the earth in the old world will suffer greatly. The lawyers will suffer greatly. The mobsters will suffer greatly. Their greed and their narcissism and their... You don't rape children and get away with it. Maybe you do on earth, but you don't get away with it in the spirit world. You pay for eternity. That's karma you can't erase. Look what we do to child molesters on earth. What do you think we're going to do to child molesters in the spirit world? Wow. I don't have time to explain that. There aren't words that can explain the hell you're going to face. So, it wouldn't do it justice. There's not a word that I could use that would do it any justice for what you're going to face. But you keep doing it. Keep it up.